Well, murder's immoral.
Immorality is subjective.
The 20th century is littered with the corpses of 160 million people, conservative estimate.
This common kind of Christian attack of, oh, you atheists, you just love your sin.
Right, what is wrong, who's to say, really, in the end? I mean, because it is unknowable. Not
killed in war by foreign governments, killed in peace by their own people.
I'm most definitely an evangelical atheist or a preaching atheist.
I'm talking about 160 million people, civilians, murdered.
God has given you over to reprobate minds.
There's an imaginary line out there between right and wrong, good and evil.
By secular, humanist, atheistic, Marxist regimes in the 20th century.
You just don't want to live in a world governed by God.
Because there's no right or wrong thing in this scenario. Then we tell you the right thing afterwards.
Includes the 36 million people slaughtered under Joseph Stalin in the Soviet Union.
Y'all just love to sin.
We're not here to decide who's right or wrong. We're here to decide who lives and dies.
What does that even mean? When there are vampires running around, there are clearly rights and wrongs.
The 68 million killed by Mao Zedong.
Essentially, the core claim here is that atheists merely looked for some reason to reject the God that they don't want to serve.
Across the line, things got confused.
Confused about what?
Right and wrong.
Right and wrong. Do you have any idea how naive that sounds? You're in no position to talk to me about right and wrong.
The 2 to 3 million killed under Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge in Cambodia.
We're in love with our sin.
When will you finally drop those tedious notions of right and wrong you've never really believed in to begin with?
The Red Terror under Mengistu in Ethiopia, and Samora Machel in Mozambique, and Agostinho Neto in Angola, and went all the way through to Fidel Castro.
You're really just an atheist because you love to sin and you did not want to live under the yoke of God or under the responsibility of appealing and obeying God's positions.
The Black Book of Communism and what Alexander Solzhenitsyn and others have said about the Soviet Union and the communist carnage.
They think you're vegetables simmering in a jelly sack.
And one of the things that atheists often get criticized for is, or I have and others have, is this claim that, well, y'all just want to sin.
I actually also care about what people believe.
And we're quick to say, no, I'm sorry, that's not actually it. We actually have reasoned arguments. We've thought about this. We've considered it. It's not just that we want to sin.
In fact, I emphasize once again, if you have a finite period of time, if God isn't going to give you happiness in the next life, folks, you must get your happiness right now.
Screw that. It's okay to not believe if you just want to sin.
But if there is no God, then life has no meaning. Why go on living? Why not just commit suicide?
Well, let's not get hysterical. I could be wrong. I'd hate to blow my brains out and then read in the papers they found something.
It really is. And what I mean by that is religions tell people to divorce themselves from who they are, who you are as human beings.
We believe in all of the lustful thoughts that motivate man because this is man's natural feeling.
If you want to call it sinning, and you don't think that's a good enough reason for me to stop believing in your God who you think made me and now I'm this way and there's nothing I can do about it, or you want to call it a choice or whatever else, it doesn't matter.
If you're going to be a sinner, be the best sinner on the block. If you're going to do something that's naughty, do it. And realize that you're doing something naughty and enjoy it.
But the number of people who actually do stop believing because they want to, quote, sin is probably pretty high. And they're all right to do it.
I noticed that you have a link here on your website for the American Atheists.
Yes.
Are you an atheist?
Yeah, I got into the atheism, oh man, like way back in the late 80s. I started identifying myself as an atheist.
We're Satanists. We start off being atheists and then decide that we are our own gods, the center of the universe.
I'm most definitely an evangelical atheist so that their beliefs change, or a preaching atheist so that their beliefs change.
Stop clenching your fists.
I can't unclench when there's turbulence. I'm an atheist.
I want my pie on earth with ice cream right now. Folks, I'm telling you, get your pie, get your ice cream now. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've said that many times.
This is a very selfish religion. We believe in greed, we believe in selfishness.
Self-proclaimed pedophile Jack McClellan says he's back and he's here to stay. On his website, McClellan says he's hopping from festival to festival looking for little girls.
We are atheists. at least as far as the Church of Satan is concerned.
She was the most hated woman in America, a title that, frankly, she took great pleasure in. And I'm talking about Madalyn Murray O'Hair.
In 1995, O'Hair, her youngest son John, and granddaughter Robin were kidnapped and murdered by former American Atheist employee David Waters.
Part of an intellectual elite.
If the atheist is willing to grant the intrinsic value of human beings, the intrinsic moral value of human beings, then I think he can probably work out an ethical code of conduct that I would largely agree with. But what I want to ask him is why think on an atheistic view that human beings do have intrinsic and objective moral value?
And we're starting to get a little concerned about this whole hell thing. What's the dealio on that?
I'm a little concerned right now about your salvation and stuff.